Hey everyone, my name's Helen. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, what I mostly talk about is hair loss stuff. I am a hair loss sufferer and recoverer and sufferer again, I guess you could call it. I am always seeming to go through cycles of like being okay and then having more hair loss, and it is not just like a straight path up, like recovering from hair loss. It is more of a roller coaster than anything else. But anyhow, that's not why I'm here. I'm here to talk about not the roller coaster of it all, but rather hair loss shampoos. I know that this is something that people are very interested in about. This is probably one of my top DMs over on Instagram. If people have personal questions, the way I usually do it is that if you have a question for me and you want to leave it below here in the comments, you kind of have to get on my videos really quick. So make sure that you like and subscribe and even click that notification bell. And I will answer comments in the first little bit, and then I kind of don't go back and revisit the comments. I've talked about that here before. It's because people get a little testy after a while. Like after about a week, you really cannot. You get a lot of sort of stuff that can just really just bring you down. And so I found that really saving my energy for just making more videos instead of tending to that sort of mixed bag of comments sort of is what works for me. So over on Instagram, if you want to ask me something personal, go ahead and do that. And this is where I get a lot of stuff about shampoo. So I thought, why don't I just make a video about it and sort of get it all down here? That way you can refer to this if you're interested in any of these shampoos. All right, people ask me, what shampoo do I recommend for hair loss? And I think it's important and I'll just be brief about this because I have spoken about this a lot, and you will hear other dermatologists talk about this a lot as well, which is that shampoo can only do so much. I don't think that it's realistic, and I'm pretty sure you don't depend upon a shampoo to sort of reverse hair loss that you have or stop it in its tracks. It can't really do that. I mean, remember, the shampoo's not even on your head for very long. You normally just put it on and you wash it off. But definitely the action of washing it off when it comes to some sort of types of hair loss, it can sort of help decrease inflammation, keep it cleaner, remove the androgens from the scalp, as I understand it. Again, of course, the disclaimer is that I am not a healthcare professional. I'm not a dermatologist. I am in no way qualified to give any kind of medical advice. All I can talk about is sort of my own experience with these shampoos and how I feel about them. And I know that they will not reverse hair loss. And I don't think that any of them really claim to. Even the ones that are for hair loss always have this sort of disclaimer language that sort of like reduces hair loss due to breakage. So always bear that in mind. Okay, let's get right into them. Nizoral, aka Nizoral. I'm not really sure which pronunciation is the right one. Not really sure that even matters. Is a ketoconazole shampoo that is actually meant for dandruff, but is very often recommended by dermatologists and by other people sort of in the hair loss community for hair loss. My thoughts on it is that it is actually fine. I think a lot of people, and I've made a review on all of the ones I'm going to talk about, so you can go back and find those, and I will do my best to link them up. Also in the description box, you can just click on if you want to actually see a full-length review, because this is not what this is going to be. It's sort of just like a quick walkthrough of the ones that I've tried and what I think about them. People say it's very, very drying. A lot of people stay away from it. A lot of people said it made their hair a terrible mess. I have dry-ish to A to B, that's a wave pattern, and a little bit of straight hair mixed in there. I actually found it to be fine. I actually didn't find it to be too drying. So I would say you can buy a really small bottle of it. At least that's the one I found if you just want to try it out. And this is not going to be a shampoo that you can really use daily. I think it might be too drying for that, but to use it as your doctor recommends or as recommended on the bottle, once a week, maybe a few times more, it certainly seemed to do a nice job for me. And I found I could restore back some of the moisture that I lost with just conditioner. I certainly didn't find it aggravated any sort of dry skin or caused dandruff. And I know that other people will have a different reaction. The important thing and the interesting thing to know about shampoo is that it's super personal. I mean, if you think moisturizer is personal, just think of how many more factors hair care has to sort of interplay with, right? Because you've got the hair itself, the porosity of your hair, how thick your hair is, how thin your hair is, and then you've got your actual skin on your scalp. So you've got this big interplay of different elements, and everyone's going to sort of react a little bit differently. But I found it certainly to be not as drying as everybody says it is. So if you're recommended to use it and you're worried that it'll be drying, maybe it won't be as drying as you think. Maybe just give it a try. Let's move on now to AVEDA's Invati hair loss shampoo. And you may have seen this because you've been sort of targeted by Google ads or whatever the case may be, or maybe you've even passed by the AVEDA store and you've seen it on a big poster. This is a bit more of a niche product. I don't get asked many questions about this. I tried it. It's incredibly expensive, and I found that I really did not like it at all. I found that it was just overly hydrating. It didn't do much and I did not like it. A note for me here in editing, this is really interesting. I went on the AVEDA site to research some of the photographs and stuff like that, thinking that everything would be the same. They've actually changed the formulations. There's now a light formula and a rich formula, and I think probably what I was using was the rich formula. They've reformulated. I can't believe that. And it seems that they've even lowered the price from what I remember it being. So that's interesting, but I still don't think that I like it, even though I haven't tried the light one. And people have said, and you can look in the comments of that video that I made when I did the review, people were like, you didn't try it for long enough, you know, your reviews suck. Thing is, I'm not gonna try it for like months if I just don't like it straight off the hop. If I'm washing 2-3 times and I strongly dislike everything from the fragrance to how it feels to how it makes my hair look, why would I keep using it for 3 months? I'm just not gonna do that. So I often don't send things back, but this one I shipped back because I was just so irritated at the cost of it. It costs so much more. I mean, AVEDA's products are already expensive and it costs so much more than just their like rosemary mint shampoo. I think that's the name of it, which in my books is actually a much nicer shampoo than this one. It was just goopy, left residue. Did not like that shampoo. Do not recommend it. I think the person it might work for maybe is a curly girl with a lot of hair. Maybe, but then it probably has other things in it that are not suitable. I don't know. I cannot think who this might be suitable for. It certainly was not suitable for me. Mane and Tail. And this is one of my reviews that has had a lot of people look at it because this is such a readily available, sort of well-known shampoo for hair loss. It's not marketed at all for hair loss. Actually, its marketing is about like, this is a shampoo for horses and you can use it too. Sure. It made my hair a hot mess. It was just like super drying. I did not find Nizoral drying, but this one took every scrap of moisture out of my head. I remember it actually taking the moisture out of the palm of my hand, if you can believe that. Like my hand was dry after from just putting shampoo in the palm of my hand and using it. So user beware. A lot of people love it. They say that they add a bit of an oil to the shampoo itself, and then they find that that works really well for them. It really lathers like crazy. You can see why it would be a great product for livestock, I guess, an animal. For me, it was overkill. I just maybe don't have enough hair. Maybe it could work well with someone with a lot of oily hair and really thick hair. Maybe in that case, you might find that it really does penetrate and gets all the oils out, but I just found it was like just a lot. It really didn't do anything for the whole hair loss aspect either for me. I know that it is well known. I brought a bottle of Mane and Tail to someone in Italy, to a guy, not a guy that I knew, but like a friend of someone that I knew that asked for it for his hair loss. He was like dealing with male pattern baldness, and I don't know what ended up happening to him, but I suspect it didn't work very well because, yeah, that's not really what it's meant to do. But if you like it and you love it, great. I'm just saying I found it super drying and I didn't find that it did anything for hair loss. Let's move on to Nioxin. Nioxin is a pretty readily available sort of mid-price shampoo. You can buy it even in a set. You can buy like shampoo, conditioner, and a scalp treatment, which I did not like. I did not like the scalp treatment. The shampoo itself I found also quite drying, kind of in around the realm of Mane and Tail, if I'm honest. I believe, as I recall, Nioxin has salicylic acid added in, which can be drying, and it's supposed to be quite good for your hair. But again, the claim on this box, I believe, also is breakage. No shampoos will go out and say that they reduce hair loss from the scalp due to sort of hormonal factors, because that's not what they're meant to do, right? So I didn't really like Nioxin, but the issue that I had, and maybe I should go back and try it again, was that the one I picked was just too drying. I picked the one that I thought would be right for my hair, but this is a clear shampoo, and often clear shampoos, not always, but often are more drying. I think that if I had gone for like step 3 or step 4, because they go from 1 to 5, and sort of the more damaged your hair is, the higher in number you kind of go. And so I think that the number I was using was just too low. If I were to do it again, I would pick like the one for color treated hair probably, because I think that it would be more hydrating. So that was a major issue for me. It was just too drying, but I used too low of a number. As for hair loss claims, I kind of couldn't get past the drying part of it, and that's always been an issue for me here. It's hard for me to test a shampoo for 2 months if it's just too drying. Sometimes I'll push myself to do it. I certainly have for the Pura D'Or videos, because those are such popular shampoos. I did push myself to do the whole 8 weeks because I could tolerate them well enough. So we'll talk about that in a second. That will actually be the last shampoo that I talk about. The other shampoo I get asked about a lot is VIVISCAL, and I have made a review about this as well. It is a volumizing shampoo. It does a really nice job in volumizing your hair, But like a lot of volumizing shampoos, it just was very drying as well, which is kind of not what I need, right? I don't need a shampoo that's drying. And I know I keep harping on about the dryingness, but that seems to be two factors that seem to go together with hair loss shampoos. They tend to be drying. And I guess that's because they're really trying to cleanse the scalp, get rid of extra sebum, the sort of hormonal aspect that I'm talking about that apparently gathers on your scalp. Again, you'll see that I'm not speaking super knowledgeably about the functionality of how the androgens work on your scalp, because I don't pretend to understand this very well. I just know I just know what works for me, and I know enough about it to sort of speak about it on a sort of very general sense. So VIVISCAL, again, nice, beautiful scent. Love the fragrance in the shampoo, very woodsy, very unisex. But again, a little bit drying, definitely does fluff up the hair. For me, not an everyday shampoo. The conditioner though is like, mwah, chef's kiss. I rebuy the conditioner, it's really nice. I don't think it does anything for hair loss. It's not meant to, you don't really put it on your scalp, but the conditioner itself is really nice and lightweight, I find. Smells lovely and is kind of semi-affordable. You know, you can get it at the drugstore. It's not like, it's more expensive than your like Doves and your Pantenes and even your L'Oreal's, but not by a huge amount. So it is nice. Shampoo is nice too if you have oily hair. I think that you would really like the shampoo. I don't though, so it is just overkill for me. Pura D'Or. Okay, this is the shampoo that people wanted me to test for the longest time. I finally did. I took many months out of my life to test these shampoos, and I say these because I tested two. I tested the sort of Blue Label original formula, and I tested the professional 2 times concentrated formula. You can watch the full reviews to see what I thought of them, but basically I will tell you, I really liked the blue formula shampoo. It was nice, and I was also coincidentally going through a period of very little hair loss. Don't know if I can attribute that necessarily to the shampoo, because I'm always super skeptical about these kind of products, but I really did like the blue formula. I didn't find it to be too drying. It is sort of like vegan, cruelty-free, blah, 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 blah. It's natural. It's whatever natural means, moderately priced. It's not a super expensive shampoo, but it kind of smelled nice. It made my hair look pretty good. And I could let everybody in the family use it. My son used it, my husband used it, and it got on well with their different hair types, because they have different hair types to me. It was just a really nice all-around shampoo. Felt pretty gentle. I would feel comfortable recommending this shampoo to pretty much anybody. So if you're on the fence about it, maybe give it a try. Give it a try. Am I saying that'll end hair loss? Absolutely not. I am not saying that, but I'm saying that if you're curious about it and you want to splash out a little bit more than your average drugstore shampoo, go ahead and try it. You might really like it. I quite liked it, and you can watch the review for the full 8 weeks that I tested it. So now let's talk about the professional version of it, which is more expensive. You know, of course, that's sort of how they get you. Is it any better? I did not find it to be better. I found it to be too drying. I found the scent to be a little bit different. It just did not work well for me. I think maybe if you had oilier hair again, or maybe more hair than I do, because I don't have super thick hair, you might really love it. I didn't like it. And again, I've got a whole 8-week rundown where I tested it completely, like through and through. Yeah, so that's sort of my rundown. The only one out of these lists that I would say that I think that would be good for pretty much any kind of hair type would be the Pura D'Or and the Blue Label. So if you have any hesitation, again, maybe try it. Okay, everybody, I'm gonna wrap it up there. I hope that this little run through was helpful. It's very hard to sort of tell you in a general sense about all these different shampoos and what they do for hair loss. Everybody's, you know, mileage may vary for these. I'm just sort of telling you from my own experience, having tested so many shampoos when it comes to the hair loss realm. That's sort of how these performed. Thanks so much for watching. I'll make another video soon, so you'll want to stay tuned for that. Again, if you have any questions, try me over on Instagram if it's been, you know, more than a little bit since this video has been released. Otherwise, feel free to leave me a comment. Let me know what shampoos you're trying and you're loving. There are just so many. I apologize I can't do all of them. I just have one head of hair, and I'm trying to be kind of persistent about trying them once I start. But I will be trying more shampoos, so you'll definitely want to stay tuned for that. All right, see you soon. Thanks for watching.